Right friends, welcome back to lecture part. This is week number 34. This is from 17th August to 23rd August, and I would like to tell you one thing. From this week onwards, based on the advice of some students, I am increasing the analysis part even in lecture also. So in lecture part there will be more analysis. Already separate lecture is there for news analysis and features, and at the same time in questions and answers also I devised into two. One is questions and answers advanced, and the second one is the questions and answers general and banking. So in questions and answers advanced also detailed explanation will be given, right? You may see some change from this week onwards, right friends? Look into the highlights of the week. National Security Advisor or NSA level talks cancelled between India and Pakistan. Then meeting of 14 Pacific Island nations at Jaipur, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended. Then one more important point is rupees 1,25,000 crores special package to Bihar. Prime Minister announced at Ara in Bihar. If you look at the events around the world, Ranil Wickremesinghe became the Prime Minister in Sri Lanka for the fourth time. China to build $10 billion nuclear power plants in Pakistan. Next important aspect is hostilities between North Korea and South Korea increased when the North Korea says stop anti-North Korea propaganda or face war, warning from North Korea's supreme leader to South Korea. Then South Sudan failed to sign the peace treaty. The government asked for 15 days more time. Then when it comes to economy and banking, important aspect is in principle approval given for payment banks. For the first time, licenses are given by Reserve Bank of India for differentiated banks. We are going to discuss what is the meaning of differentiated banks. India Aspiration Fund, a fund for the startups, as well as the SMILE, launched by the finance minister. Both will be maintained by SIDBI. After 72 years, a new bank, that is Bandhan Bank, was born at Kolkata as the headquarters. Indigo finalizes purchase of 250 aircrafts at around $26 billion. Coming back to the miscellaneous events, Cochin became the first fully solar powered airport in the country, and we would like to discuss a bit about what is Indus Water Treaty of 1960. This I included in view of the objections raised by Pakistan over Ratleh hydroelectric power projects in Jammu and Kashmir. Right friends? Look into the first issue. National Security Advisor or NSA level talks cancelled between India and Pakistan. Cancellation of talks and ceasefire violations is not new in the relations between India and Pakistan. India several times complain about ceasefire violations by Pakistan, and this type of talks are getting cancelled quite often. And at present, National Security Advisor of Pakistan is Sartaj Aziz, and from Indian side it is Ajit Doval. And let us look at the issue why these talks were cancelled. First and the foremost is I am talking about from India's perspective. From India's perspective, first and the foremost is Indian authorities says as per the UFA agreement between both the prime ministers. UFA is the place in Russia where both the prime ministers met recently, and as per the UFA agreement, India says only terrorism will be discussed. As per the UFA agreement, India says only terrorism will be discussed. But now Pakistan is adding Kashmir into it. India says only terrorism, but Pakistan says Kashmir issue also should be added. The second point from Indian perspective is, as per the Shimla agreement, issue is to be resolved bilaterally. Shimla agreement, you may ask when this was signed. Shimla agreement was signed on July 2nd 1972 between Indira Gandhi and Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, and as per the Shimla Agreement, I would like to tell you the important aspects of Shimla Agreement. As per the Shimla Agreement, the ceasefire line is demarcated as line of control, and second important point is the issues between India and Pakistan are to be resolved bilaterally. That means there will not be any third party interference, whether it is United Nations or United States of America. There will not be any third party interference as per the Shimla Agreement. Now Indian authorities quoted, as per Shimla Agreement, issue is to be resolved bilaterally. Why India raised this issue? Because National Security Advisor of Pakistan decided to meet Hurriyat Conference leaders. National Security Advisor of Pakistan decided to meet Hurriyat Conference leaders. You may ask, what is Hurriyat Conference? Hurriyat Conference is the entity whose ideology is based on separatism, and Pakistan National Security Advisor wants to meet Hurriyat Conference leaders. India objected to it. So India's viewpoint is only terrorism should be discussed, no other issue and no other third party. And Pakistan said, conditional talks will not serve any purpose, so let us not go ahead with the discussions if they are confined only to terrorism. This is the Pakistan's version. Pakistan's version is, let us not restrict it to only terrorism, and conditional talks will not serve any purpose. This is the viewpoint of Pakistan. India's viewpoint is only terrorism will be discussed. If it involves any other issue, this will be against OFA agreement. The second issue, as per Indian authorities, is, as per the Shimla Agreement, the issue is to be resolved bilaterally without third party interference. Under these circumstances, meeting of National Security Advisor with the Hurriyat Conference leaders is not acceptable to India. So, India's point is terrorism should only be discussed. Pakistan's point is conditional talks will not serve any purpose, and finally talks could not be held. Right? And India says this cancellation is unfortunate, and USA says cancellation is disappointing. Right? So let us look at the issues India is going to raise in the discussions. First issue is list of 54 fugitives taking shelter in Pakistan. 54 fugitives. You may ask, what is fugitive? If somebody facing trial, that means if a person is required to be arrested because of some crime, he has gone away from the country and taking shelter in some other country, then they are called fugitives. If someone is required or someone is facing some trial in this country and he has gone away and taking shelter in some other country, then they are called fugitives. Pakistan is giving shelter to 54 fugitives. Second important point is Dawood Ibrahim has got 9 houses in Karachi and Islamabad. He is required in some cases by the Indian authorities. The third important point is slow progress of trial in connection with 26 November 2008 Mumbai case. All of you are well aware, in 2008, 26th of November, India, the financial capital, Mumbai was attacked, and the trial is going on slower pace in Pakistan. This is the third issue. And the fourth issue India is going to raise is subsequent to OFA agreement between Indian and Pakistani Prime Ministers, there were 91 ceasefire violations. You may ask, what is ceasefire? Ceasefire is temporary stoppage of hostilities, or you can say temporary stoppage of firing. No formal agreement, but it is informally agreed to stop firing. If it is informally agreed, that is known as a ceasefire. If it is informally agreed to stop hostilities or to stop firing, then that is called ceasefire. If some formal agreement is there, that is called armistice. if some formal agreement is there to stop firing, that is called armistice, and subsequent to armistice, peace treaty will be signed. So, the 3 steps to end hostilities or to end war, the 3 steps to end hostilities or to end war, or the first one is ceasefire, informal agreement to stop fighting. Second is armistice, that is formal agreement to stop firing, and the third one is peace treaty. Ultimately, peace treaty will be signed. With the signing of peace treaty, technically the war will be over. Right? Look into the next issue. Meeting of 14 Pacific Island nations at Jaipur. 14 Pacific Island nations, and before this I would like to tell you about there is an organization called Pacific Islands Forum. This Pacific Islands Forum is the union of 16 countries, or you can say intergovernmental organization of 16 countries. This Pacific Islands Forum is the intergovernmental organization of 16 countries including Australia and New Zealand, and here Australia and New Zealand are bigger countries and remaining 14 are smaller islands, and the headquarters of this, or you can say secretariat of this 16 countries Pacific Islands Forum is situated at Suva in Fiji. And if you exclude 2 countries out of these 16 countries, if you exclude Australia and New Zealand from these 16 countries, remaining 14 countries formed Forum for India Pacific Islands Cooperation. That means India along with the 14 countries of Pacific Ocean, that is the Forum for India Pacific Islands Cooperation, that is FIPIC. Last year when our Prime Minister visited Fiji, this idea was conceptualized, and this is the second summit held at Jaipur. 14 heads of smaller countries of Pacific Ocean, they along with India formed this Forum for India Pacific Islands Cooperation, and recently second summit was held at Jaipur. And you may ask, what is the significance? The significance of this relation with these Pacific countries is India wants to have cordial relations with those countries because China is assisting those countries in a big way. What will happen? Small countries, initially they take economic aid from bigger countries, and subsequently they will become strategically important for bigger countries. Subsequently, bigger countries may establish their military bases in those smaller countries. First, bigger countries approach these smaller countries with financial aid or economic aid, and subsequently the bigger countries will look at the strategic relation of establishing military ties, and this was held at Jaipur. And these countries, the economy is basically dependent on agriculture, fisheries and small scale industries, and climate change is the bigger issue when these countries are concerned, because most of these countries are vulnerable because of climate change. Remaining things I have given in this PPT, please go through them. Next issue is rupees 1,25,000 crore special package for Bihar, PM announces at ARA. There is nothing wrong in giving a special package to some states, but the biggest question is there is no scientific basis of announcing 1,25,000 crores of special package. All of you are well aware, elections are going to be held in Bihar in this year, October-November 2015. Second important point is there is going to be a seesaw battle between two fronts, one led by Bharatiya Janata Party and the other one led by both JDU and RJD. Right? Under these circumstances, announcing 1,25,000 crores of special package to the state of Bihar assumed significance. It is more like a populist measure before elections. And the second important point is the finance ministry notified 21 districts as backward. The first important point is 1,25,000 crores special package. Second important point is Finance Ministry notified 21 districts as backward. They will get depreciation allowance and investment allowance. If industries are established in these districts, they will get investment allowance as well as depreciation allowance. You may ask, what is investment allowance? Investment allowance is when an industry is established in a backward district, in the subsequent profits, tax exemption can be claimed. They can get tax benefits of this investment. That means if somebody established a company with 100 crores of rupees, and when that industry started generating profits, part of this investment can be claimed for not paying taxes. That means taxes can be reduced to the extent of investment allowance. Right? We will discuss in some other class the detailed explanation of investment allowance and depreciation allowance. Because of investment allowance and depreciation allowance, the taxes can be reduced subsequently after the establishment of industries. For the time being, please learn up to this much, and in some other class we will discuss in detail about depreciation allowance and investment allowance. Right? And package to Bihar. Let us analyze, is it a continuation of populism? To some extent, because of the reason there is no scientific basis. I have listed out 4 reasons. It is against the tenets of federalism and fiscal responsibility. It is against the tenets of federalism and fiscal responsibility. Because of populist measures, fiscal deficit may go up and fiscal responsibility will take a beating, and in a federal country there should be some scientific basis for giving some packages. Second important point is, it is against the tenets of 14th Finance Commission recommendations. All of you are well aware, 14th Finance Commission raised the share of state taxes from the divisible pool of taxes. From the divisible pool of taxes, state's share was raised from 32% to 42%. All of you are well aware. Basically, the idea of giving more percentage as a state's share is to eliminate discretionary transfers. The present case falls under discretionary transfer. The third important point is, this is against the tenets of Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog basically looks at rule-based cooperative federalism. It is against populist measures. The fourth important point is, there may not be end to such populist measures. Tomorrow it may be Uttar Pradesh, because elections are due in Uttar Pradesh after around 2 years. Right? And such type of doles may lead to cuts in infrastructure, regional imbalances, and politics dominating real economics. And tomorrow there may be some demands from other states also. But there is nothing wrong in giving assistance based on scientific data. But in this case, scientific data is not being taken into consideration. Right? It looks more like populism in view of the elections in Bihar to be held later part of the year. When you look at the events around the world, Ranil Wickramasinghe returns as Prime Minister in Sri Lanka, and their front, that is United National Front for Good Governance, got 106 seats, whereas the front led by Mahinda Rajapaksa, that is United People's Freedom Alliance, that got 95 seats, out of 225 members parliament. Please don't forget, district level seats are 196 and allotment under national list 29, and here 46% of the votes are secured by the winners and 42% secured by the alliance led by Mahinda Rajapaksa. And in this regard, I would like to tell you three things. First and the foremost point is, it is the continuation of change. In the month of January, Maithripala Sirisena got elected as the president by defeating Mahinda Rajapaksa. That means the voters preferred continuance of change. Second important point is the comeback effort of Mahinda Rajapaksa was once again rejected by the voters of Sri Lanka. The third important point which I would like to tell you is the ethnic minorities in the country. The ethnic minorities of the country are not believing Mahinda Rajapaksa and they are voting against him, especially religious minorities like Muslims and Tamils in the Northern Territory. They are against Mahinda Rajapaksa, because of which he lost for the second time also. Right? So, these are the events I would like to tell you, and because of this continuation, the Sri Lankans voted for continuation of a change they have brought out during the early part of this year. Look into the next one. China to build $10 billion nuclear power plants in Pakistan. All of you are well aware, when the Chinese Premier Xi Jinping visited Pakistan in the month of April, he committed total $46 billion of investment. $46 billion of investment, and China-Pakistan economic corridor was also unveiled. China-Pakistan economic corridor at $46 billion was also unveiled, and which involves an expenditure of $46 billion. Basically, it connects Gwadar port with Kashgar, and because of this, 17,000 megawatt of electricity will be generated. And now the Prime Minister of Pakistan inaugurated the construction work of nuclear power plants K2 and K3, because K1 was already in existence, which was built 43 years ago. These nuclear power plants are proposed to be constructed near Karachi. And this 1100 megawatt power project will entail an expenditure of $10 billion as per the news reports. And let us look at it from various perspectives. First is from Pakistani perspective. From Pakistani perspective, it is a major boost to infrastructure. Second important point is, because of economic might of China, now Pakistan is moving closer to China than United States of America. For several years, the United States of America is supporting Pakistan. Now Pakistan is inching closely towards China. From Chinese perspective, it fulfills their ambitious goal of Silk Road project. China is ambitious with their Silk Road initiative. And second important point is, there is a separatist movement, because in China, Xinjiang Autonomous Region, there is a problem with the Muslim community there. There are separatist agitations going on in Xinjiang Autonomous Region of China, and being Pakistan a Muslim country, and it can take the Pakistan support for quelling the hesitations of Muslim community in Xinjiang Autonomous Region. That is the advantage of China. And this Gwadar port to Kashgar infrastructure corridor is basically a part of Silk Road initiative of China. Please don't forget. And from Indian perspective, Pakistan becoming closer to China is not a happy sign for India. India already has got several issues with China. Boundary disputes are there, and stapled visas being given by China to Arunachal Pradesh residents. And there are several other issues which India and China are required to sort out. So, not a welcome sign for India when Pakistan becomes closer to China, right? Look into the next one. Stop anti-North propaganda broadcast or face war. North Korea wants South Korea. There is escalation of hostilities between North Korea and South Korea. All of you are well aware about the Korean War. Korean War took place in between 1950 to 53. Korea was ruled by Japan from 1910 to 1945. And when Japan got defeated, this Korea, northern part of Korea, was taken over by the Soviet Union, the southern part taken over by United States of America, and 3 years of civil war took place from the year 1950 to 1953. The North Korea in those days was supported by Soviet Union and China. South Korea supported by United States of America as well as United Nations forces, and the civil war technically ended in the year 1953 with the armistice agreement, but no peace treaty was signed. I just now discussed the difference between ceasefire, armistice and peace treaty. Only armistice agreement was signed subsequent to the Korean Civil War, and the hostilities are continuing at the border area between North Korea and South Korea. North Korea is ruled by Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un. There is no democracy in North Korea, and North Korea's only ally is probably China, and there are several problems in North Korea. We have discussed in the previous classes. Now the tensions escalated across the border between North Korea and South Korea, right? And now the hostilities between North Korea and South Korea are on the increase in recent times. Look into the next issue. South Sudan failed to sign the peace treaty, one of the biggest humanitarian crises. South Sudan failed to sign the peace treaty. South Sudan, the youngest country in the world, formed in the year 2011. Actually, if you look at Sudan, it was into civil war for the past 42 out of 60 years. And South Sudan was formed in 2011. And the present president is Salva Kiir, and the rebel leader is Riek Machar. They belongs to different ethnic groups. And the trouble started when Riek Machar was removed from vice presidentship, and peace agreement supposed to be signed on August 17th, but government sought 15 days more time, and finally peace agreement could not be signed between both the government and the rebel leader, right? Please look into the next one. When it comes to the economy and banking events, in principle approval given for payment banks, RBI gives a note for 11 entities. You may ask what is meant by payment bank, and I would like to tell you a few points in this regard. First and the foremost point is, this is the first time RBI has given license for differentiated banks. Previously, RBI in recent times, that means during the past 20 years, gave licenses 3 times for universal banks. During 1993-94, it gave licenses for universal banks. ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, Axis Bank were started subsequent to that. Again in 2002, it gave licenses for universal banks once again, and subsequently Yes Bank and Kotak Mahindra Bank were started. Now in the year 2014, it gave licenses to 2 entities, that is IDFC as well as Bandhan, and now Reserve Bank came up with differentiated banks. These are payment banks. Payment banks means they are not universal banks. What is meant by universal bank? Universal bank is they can give loans from 50,000 rupees to thousands of crores of rupees. They can finance a infrastructure project of thousands of crores. At the same time, they can give loan to a poor artisan for 50,000 rupees. They can accept deposits. They can open zero balance accounts and they can receive bulk deposits of crores of rupees. They can do investment banking. They can sell mutual funds. They can sell insurance products. So, all these things are the traits of universal banks, but now different category of banks, or you can say sectarian type. Payment banks are only for payments and remittances. The maximum deposit cannot be more than 1 lakh. The second important point is they can issue only debit cards, they cannot issue credit cards. They cannot accept deposits from NRIs and they can transfer money. So, these are the differentiated banks, and payment banks can receive up to rupees 1 lakh only. So, the maximum balance in a account of payment bank is rupees 1 lakh, right? So, here out of 41 entities, 11 entities got license, and RBI stated in future licenses will be given on tap. On tap means as and when required, they will take applications, as and when required, they will give licenses. That is on tap licensing. And important aspect is they have to start operations within 18 months, and an external advisory committee of Nachiket More scrutinized all the applications and sent its recommendations, and the remaining things I have given in this PPT. And please look into this PPT. Payment banks, 11 entities got licenses. They include India Post, Airtel, Vodafone, then Sun Pharma's founder as well as Paytm's founder. They also got licenses along with the Reliance Industries, right? Look into the next one, India Aspiration Fund and Smile launched by the Finance Minister. This India Aspiration Fund is for equity investments in startups and MSMEs. India Aspiration Fund is for equity investments in startups and MSMEs. That means to give boost to the startups. That means startup ecosystem in the country is to be nurtured, and keeping that in view, startups means new organizations which are coming up. They have to be nurtured. Now, government came up with India Aspiration Fund so as to support the startups, and this is rupees 2000 crore fund. Government of India will be the anchor investor, LIC will be the partner, right? And second one is SIDBI Make in India loan for enterprises or Smile. SIDBI Make in India loan for enterprises, or you can say Smile. This was launched with the purpose of giving soft loans to the MSMEs. You may ask, what is soft loans? Soft loans means the interest rate on loans will be lesser than the market rates. If the market rate is 14%, soft loan will have interest rate of around 10% or 11% or maybe lesser than that. And the second word in this connection with Smile I would like to tell you, this is in the nature of quasi-equity. You may ask, what is equity? Equity is you are getting share in the ownership by investing in equity. That means if you are investing in Reliance Industries, you are getting share in the ownership of Reliance Industries. That is equity. But what is quasi-equity? Quasi-equity is not equity. Quasi-equity is a type of investment with liberalized conditions. That means it is the loan with liberalized payment conditions and probably without collateral security. If you are going to the bank for loan, bank will ask for collateral security. When loan is given without collateral security, when loan is given with easier repayment options, when loan is given at lesser than market interest rate, then it is known as quasi-equity. So, so as to give such type of loans, so as to give soft loans to promote MSME sector, this SMILE was launched with 10,000 crores of corpus. Right? So, this India Aspiration Fund, this SIDBI Make in India loan for enterprises, these things we will discuss in detail sometime later in news analysis and features, because they have already launched Mudra Bank. Collateral Guarantee Fund Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises already exists, which is maintained by SIDBI. All these things, how they are going to make a difference in the ecosystem of the country for startups as well as MSMEs, we are going to discuss in news analysis and features subsequently, maybe within few weeks. Look into the next one. After 72 years, a new bank was born with Kolkata headquarters. Bandhan Bank was born. Chandrasekhar Ghosh is the MD and CEO. He started as Bandhan Financial Services, and subsequent to getting the license from RBI in the year 2014, now a bank was born with the name as Bandhan Bank, and this is born at Calcutta as the headquarters. And last time when Kolkata became the headquarters was when UCO Bank was born in the year 1943, or UCO Bank was previously known as United Commercial Bank. Right, remaining things, please go through this PPT and look into the next issue. Indigo finalizes the purchase of 250 Airbus jets at $26.5 billion, and the details of this you can go through this PPT. Indigo is the country's biggest airline by market share, and they are going to purchase 250 numbers of A320neo aircraft. This 320 neo, this is made by Airbus. 737 MAX, this is manufactured by Boeing. So, this Neo series and MAX series are the narrow bodied aircrafts. These are the narrow bodied aircrafts with flights up to 5 hours duration. This Neo 320 is manufactured by Airbus. Airbus is based in Europe. 737 MAX is manufactured by Boeing. Boeing is based in United States of America. One is Europe based, the other one is USA based. These two are the giants in the world. And this Indigo was started by Rahul Bhatia and Rakesh Gangwal. Please don't forget. Miscellaneous events. Cochin became the first fully solar powered airport in the country. Right? Cochin Airport, Cochin International Airport Limited became the first solar powered airport. Here 46,000 solar panels are producing 52,000 units of power, and the project cost is 62 crores of rupees, and here Cochin became the first airport to become solar. Right? Look into the last event, Indus Water Treaty. This belongs to 1960. Why I included this is recently the issue pertaining to Ratle Hydropower Project. Ratle Hydropower Project is being constructed by India on river Chenab. It was foundation stone was led by the then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh in the year 2013. But now Pakistan raised objections. And what are the provisions of Indus Water Treaty? Indus Water Treaty was signed in the year 1960 on September 19th at Karachi by the then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru and Ayub Khan, and the third party is World Bank. So, these three are the signatories, Jawaharlal Nehru, Ayub Khan and the World Bank's representative, and if there is any dispute with regard to the sharing of Indus river waters, then the matter can be referred to the neutral expert. The matter can be referred to the neutral expert, and here I would like to tell you one point. This treaty is the most successful experiment between India-Pakistan relations, right? This is the good sign for both the countries. The successful operation of Indus river treaty for the past 55 years without much problems, and now the Pakistan's objection with regard to the Ratley Power project can also be solved amicably, because a clause is there. If there is any dispute, the matter can be referred to the neutral expert. Right friends, with this let us conclude this week's lecture part. Please do join for news analysis and features. Have a nice day. Thank you.